Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is our NXT show for the week. Let's jump right into it with the first match of the night. Tyler Breeze versus Mojo Rawley. Two guys going in two different directions. Tyler, although not being successful going for the championship, has been elevated into a championship material. Mojo continues to tumble down the roster. Probably needs a little more seasoning. Might have been pushed a little bit too high too quickly. Tyler Breeze picks up the win pretty easily. I enjoy Tyler. I think he's going to be a big star. I thought this was a great match. Next up, we have a continuation of the feud between the Ascension and Hideo Itami. We have Victor versus Itami. Itami picks up the win. However, during the match, we see Connor dragging Hideo Itami's friend Sho Funaki out to the stage. Connor attacks Funaki. They beat him down. Itami tries to make the save. They tie him up in the ropes and hit the fall of man on Funaki, who has to be stretchered out. I thought this was an excellent example of a guy that probably still has pretty steep language barrier, even though having the language barrier was able to convey hurt, convey pain, and convey concern for his friend. I thought it was an excellent job by Hideo Itami. I thought it was a good job for Connor and Victor to come out looking more vicious as they've kind of fallen out of the tag team title reigns, but I believe that's because they're probably close to being called up. Speaking of the tag team title rankings, we have the Vaudevillains versus Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. I thought this was a good match. I thought it was fun. Vaudevillains pick up the win. It was a little bit... Personally, I think I like Enzo and Cass a little bit better. I'm fans of both teams, but I see what they're doing. They're going to bring the Vaudevillains up to the level where they're the Lucha Dragons' next opponents. Good match, good solid tag team wrestling. A lot of great tag team talent on NXT. I'd like to see them come up to the main roster and bolster the main roster's tag team division. Next up we have Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. A very good match. A good way to reintroduce Sasha Banks as being a solid contender for the women's title. Sasha picks up the win. Thought this was good. I enjoy Becky Lynch. She has a unique energy to her. Sasha Banks is a good heel. I think Sasha moving up, maybe the next competitor for Charlotte, could be a really good thing. I enjoy Sasha and I enjoy Becky as well. Next up, we have our main event. Sami Zayn defending the honor of NXT versus Titus O'Neil, who came and basically said he was going to take over and make it NXT ITUS. I was a little disappointed in this in the fact that Sami Zayn had a moral victory by hanging with Titus O'Neil, although losing to Titus O'Neil. In my opinion, Sami Zayn is further along, quote-unquote, in his development or his character, that he should be beating someone the level of Titus O'Neil coming down to NXT. We're not talking about an Intercontinental Champion. We're not talking about a U.S. Champion, a World Champion, or even one of the Tag Champions. We're talking about a guy that's on the bottom of the Raw roster at this point. I think perception hurt Sami Zayn a little bit. Being competitive with Titus O'Neil, however, not winning, hurt him. After the match, we see Titus continue to attack. Neville makes the save. I think that added a little bit to the friendship/rivalry dichotomy they got going with Zayn and Neville. Just like I said, I think Sami Zayn, character-wise, is further along than he should be losing to the guy on the level of Titus O'Neil. That's no knock with Titus O'Neil. I think he could be bigger than he is, but as of right now, he's the comedy relief on WWE. Now, coming from that, we're going to jump right into our top 5 prospects. Number 5, Tyler Breeze. He's been off the rankings for a little bit. It's getting a little bit harder to get on here, especially with some newer guys debuting, plus some great talent about to debut. Tyler's a guy, I think he has all the talent and skill in the world. Just a matter of time before he's allowed to portray that on the big stage. Number 4, the Divas, or Women's Champion. I keep forgetting that NXT calls it a Women's Championship, which is very refreshing. Charlotte. What can I say about Charlotte that I haven't said already? Probably the best women's prospect in all of wrestling. I think she's a future megastar. She could be this generation's Trish Stratus, Lita, you name it, she could do it. Number 3, the NXT champion Adrian Neville, one of the premier high flyers in all of the world, starting to build a little bit of charisma to him. That's the one thing I've always thought he lacked, was the charisma and the mic skill. Yeah, I mean, he had a little bit of charisma, but not, he couldn't orate as well. And it's starting, I think the semi-heel turn is playing a little bit more in the cocky arrogance. I think it's going to go far for him. Number 2, Sami Zayn. Like I said, I'm a huge Sami Zayn fan, but the portrayal of him losing to Titus O'Neil, to me, I think it hurt Sami's standing, in my opinion. I could be wrong. If you guys think I'm wrong about that, let me know. If you don't think it affected him at all. But to me, it's the perception is that Sami can't beat a main roster guy, even a low-level main roster guy. So why should he be ready for the main roster? That's what I think when I see something like that. And number 1, a guy who's, in a short amount of time, shot all the way to the top, Hideo Itami. We knew coming in that he was a special talent. We knew that he was going to be one of the best wrestlers in NXT. Like I said when I reviewed the match, him adding that, that extra bit to his work. We already know he's one of the great ring workers. The ability to portray a story the way he did and come across as actually being in pain that his friend was being hurt impressed me very much. I think this guy's on a fast track. I don't expect him to be in NXT more than 6 months. And if he is, it's probably because they want him to learn a little bit more English, and that's the only reason. But Hideo Itami, rocketed right to the top. What can I say? The guy's amazing. So are everybody else on the top 5. A lot of NXTs. The WWE developmental right now is probably in the best it's been in a very long time. But basically, that's all I have to say about this. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't notice, I'm wearing a Taz shirt. Happy birthday, Taz. The day that this is being recorded is Taz's birthday. Shoot him a line over on Twitter, say happy birthday. Tell him Heel Heat sent you, even though he probably has no clue who Heel Heat is. But happy birthday, champ. Again, this has been George Coles, and this is another episode of Heel Heat.